nice weather again today. This actually feels more like an early summer weather anyways, in terms of the temperature and all that. And what's going on today? How about this one? More stories of people being afraid of drones that they assume are spying on them around buildings, which kind of makes you wonder again based on people's comments. It says here, a robot peeping Tom, drone flying close to Toronto condo windows raises privacy concerns. So as it says here, amid the high-rise jungle of Midtown Toronto, Lisa Graston saw it out of the corner of her eye, a white drone with 4 propellers hovering in broad daylight outside her apartment window. Inaudible amid the din of construction in the area, the unmanned aerial vehicle slowly descended the front of her building. As it veered off, Graston stepped onto her balcony and managed to photograph the craft now flying beside the windows of another condo just down her residence street. So I'm wondering there, what are the odds are that they're capturing the actual construction, so that's why they're near, let's just say, their building? Because what direction was the camera pointing at? That's what I would wonder personally, because it could be used for work nowadays. It says the incident Wednesday wasn't the first time Graston has spotted a drone in her neighborhood. Earlier this year, she saw one lurking outside her neighbor's apartment at night, off in a distance. But now, having come almost face to face with a drone in her own home, Graston said these incidents raise important privacy concerns, along with questions about who is operating the vehicles and how they're being used. So with those pictures, I suppose she apparently posted it on some local Facebook group, I suppose alerting people, hey, look at this thing, is it spying on us and so forth? And from what I gather, people were suggesting it could have just been a real estate drone, for example, but she's still, I guess, adamant that it probably wasn't. And read the reason here. It says, it really didn't feel like that to me because it was hovering and slowly going down the building, she said. Also questioning why the drone then flew to another building across the road. So why wouldn't that be possibly someone filming like the building or real estate? You said yourself they're going slowly. That's usually how you capture things cinematically. And going from one place to another, you're getting different angles and all that. And with that came the topic of privacy and whether or not more laws should be made in regards to drones, which again doesn't make sense, which they actually kind of admit in terms of there's already laws in place if someone uses it in a bad way. This one says, Anne Kavakian, Executive Director of the Global Privacy and Security by Design Center and Ontario's former 3-term Information and Privacy Commissioner, said Canada's privacy laws haven't kept pace with the advancing technology, saying here, this is a potentially dangerous, harmful direction that this is going with the use of unmanned drones and activity of this nature, she said. It just clearly has the potential to invade privacy, and it's important to note that the privacy forms the foundation of our freedom. If you value free and open societies, you value privacy. I'd be inclined to say if you value free and open societies, then you shouldn't make laws based on, let's just say, ignorance and personal fear and prejudice, based it on actual facts. Not, for example, because you see it in the movie, in the media all the time, oh, this guy's using this drone to quote spy on me. You have to verify it, for example, whether or not the person's actually doing it, as opposed to just typecasting everyone. You're flying this thing, you're spying on me, and so forth. I mean, imagine that with any other topic where certain groups of people are always being targeted by other groups of individuals in a prejudiced way. And they even say here, Canada's current privacy laws do not explicitly mention drones, but the government said that the laws apply to pictures, videos, and other information potentially collected by the technology. It also noted that some violation to a person's privacy may go beyond privacy laws and may be offenses that result in charges such as voyeurism or mischief. Again, there's a broad law already, so why do you need more? We don't need additional laws saying if you commit a crime with a quote smartphone, a telephoto lens, a mirrorless camera, like that type of thing, why do you need all those extra little stuff? It's just creating more issues in my opinion. But despite that, this person is persistent, it seems, because it says Kavakian said she believes there should be tougher regulations limiting where drones can fly, specifically around personal residences. That's where a lot of privacy-related activities takes place, she said. I don't think drone use in those areas should be permitted, period. I would say personally, if you value things like freedom and all that in a society, then you have to think about everybody, not just yourself. Can you imagine that in this case? I could be using it, for example, in a good way. You could be using it, for example, like real estate. How about if it's to check the weather? Or let's just say someone is actually trying to save someone's life or something like that. Imagine there's an actual fire. So how can you just say it based on one paranoia or one specific incident? People will say, okay, ban them all. It is kind of ridiculous to think about, actually. Let's just pretend someone's using it for real estate. They were gonna fly probably like what? A little over 20 meters over the house or something like that. Now you're saying, nope, I don't care. I want you to climb a ladder and stuff up there with, I don't know, a long selfie stick, a tripod or something. So basically you don't care about things like safety either. I mean, again, you have to think about more than just yourself in one incident. Should you say that about everything else? Hey, there's this story where somebody used a smartphone in a bad way. Oh, we better restrict them in residential areas, or let's just say the parks, because you never know. Someone could be using it in that way. Or if you're going in the bathroom, let's be safe. People will have to leave their phones and stuff outside the washroom. Like, it's the law now. Like, wouldn't that be kind of crazy if you think about it? Like, being so over the top? That's kind of what you're saying, for example, like this person for things like the drones too. I mean, you gotta be consistent in life. And with that topic of privacy, how about this one I read? This one says, Attorney General Bonta announces $93 million settlement regarding Google's location privacy practices. It makes you wonder too, because people are so concerned about that quote drone, yet so many of the stuff they use nowadays, they have all these privacy issues. It says California Attorney General Rob Bonta today announced a $93 million settlement with Google, resolving allegations that its location privacy practices violated California consumer protection laws. The settlement follows a multi-year investigation by the California Department of Justice that determined Google was deceiving users by collecting, storing, and using their location data for consumer profiling and advertising purposes without informed consent. In addition to paying $93 million, Google has agreed to accept strong injunctive terms to deter future misconducts. Our investigation revealed that Google was telling its users one thing, that it would no longer track their location once they opted out, but doing the opposite and continuing to track its users' movements for its own commercial gain. That's unacceptable, and we're holding Google accountable with today's settlement, said Attorney General Bonta. I want to thank my Consumer Protection Section for their work on this matter and for securing important privacy safeguards on behalf of all Californians. So it makes you wonder, will this make a difference though? For a company that makes billions and so forth, this might just be like a slap in the wrist, but who knows? But again, in terms of the topic of privacy, there's so many other things in life that people just overlook in general, huh? Whereas in this case, you can say 100% they were doing that.
Ninja, throwing stars at random people. Showing stars. And come back to circle. And the ninja speed. Pose. And pull the rug underneath. Pretty cool, impressed?
Alright, see you guys later.